Jacob Weitering is next, and if you've watched all of the training videos and the preseason reports and basically a lot of the content in this preseason, you'll know that I'm a big advocate for Jacob Weitering, and every time his name's mentioned, I really pep up and get a big smile on my face, and such is the way that he's been training and the way that he carries himself. And when you're talking about a young group, obviously, you have a lot of characters. And for me, I love these guys that come in with those old souls, if you will. And I think Jacob Weitering is one of those. You don't see much of him on Instagram. He's very much to himself. You see other boys sort of try and include him in their Instagram stories, and he just gives them nothing. And I absolutely love it. I think, if you look at the projection of his career, obviously number one pick, he's come from a junior career where he was touted as the best of his age group, basically from the day he started playing junior footy to the day he was drafted. And so to have that tag as a defender is obviously very unique and rare. And so naturally, when you think about that, right, you're the best player in your age group, you move to the AFL, all of a sudden you're coming up against guys who are 7, 8, 9 years more experienced than you, not just as a footy player, but physically, mentally as an adult. And so the way he played in his first year was phenomenal. We thought, oh God, how good's this? And he obviously had some challenges in that second year and especially in that third year. And he sort of found himself losing that confidence. And rather than focusing on his strengths, which coming into the AFL where his interceptability and one-on-one skills, he sort of just went into his shell a little bit. He started finding himself in weird situations. He was getting these random knocks and random injuries, and he sort of didn't know how to read the play to the best of his ability. And I thought that really started turning in 2019. And, when you think about 2017 was obviously a big year for him. He had an experienced Sam Doherty, an All-Australian Sam Doherty in that back line. Simo was there as well. So, the responsibility wasn't thrown at him as much. But when you look at once Doc left and then you look at 2018 and 2019, he had to really grow up really fast. So I think himself and even Liam Jones forming that partnership had to grow as well. And it did. And, we saw that when Jones went down in 2019, Jacob had to step in and play that fullback role, and he took many scalps. Tom Hawkins, Josh Kennedy, who was coming off that 7-goal performance, and he kept him to 5 disposals when we played West Coast later in the year, and he just started adding this layer to himself. And the one thing I've noticed, or what I am noticing with Jacob, is he's now all of a sudden, rather than in an aerial contest focusing on, right, where's my man, he's got the confidence in his strength to know, right, this is where my man is. I don't have to focus on him too much, and it's all about the ball now. And I'm seeing it at training now. You've got to take a layer off that because it is training, and he's not playing against the best full forwards in the competition while he's at training. But just watching the confidence in his body, he doesn't look like he's anxious about things anymore. He's very much grown into his body. He's grown into his role, and he's our key anchor down there. And touch wood, barring any injury, he's going to be there for the next 10, 12 years. And he's just a lock in the side. And I think his leadership goes unnoticed because he's such he seems like a quiet guy, but he's actually not. Especially on the field, he's very much a general. And that was something that I spoke about back in the 2018 and 2019 previews, is how can Jacob grow, especially in that vocal type scenario where he has to tell players where to go, who for the most part are probably older than him. So that's the challenge. He's entering year 5. He's got the confidence in his body. He's got the runs on the board. He's played almost 80 games. He's coming into that hot spot. The key position players, we know they take a little bit of time. And I feel like he's in that real sweet spot. And he also showed signs in the back end of last year, which really show and suggest to me that 2020 is going to be the absolute breakout year for him. Now, there's a bit of expectation that I'm putting on him. And, if it's not this year, but he still has a solid year, that's fine. But the expectation doesn't just come from the fact that he's a number one pick for me. The expectation comes from what I'm seeing out on the training track. Like, he's just a man amongst boys now, and he's not that little 18-year-old anymore or 19-year-old. He's just grown so much, and I'm excited for him. I do want to see him. And again, each to their own, particularly the players in putting themselves out there in front of the media. But he's such a responsible guy. Like, when I say Jacob Weitering's name, responsible is one of the words that comes to mind, and mature. And I would like to see him start opening up and talking about what he's seeing out there, because he seems to be a very intelligent fella, not only about footy but in life. So, if there's any themes or issues out there that he's seeing amongst his peers, whether it be in the football industry or even society, I'd be really interested to see what is sort of underneath the layers of Jacob Weitering as the footballer. So that's some food for thought there. What about you? Have you also seen Jacob Weitering's progression the way I have? Like, do you really, are you relating to what I'm saying about him ready to break out this year? Or do you think, don't worry about all Australians or anything like that, just when it happens, it happens? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really excited about this one.